Now 7:43, and we're back in a moment with Paul McCartney. But first, this is Today on NBC.
As he continues on his New World Tour, Paul McCartney is finding that his audiences still prefer the old Beatles songs to the stuff he's doing now. That fact pains not just his pride, but also his pocket, because Michael Jackson now owns the copyrights to all the early Beatles songs. NBC's Mary Alice Williams caught up with McCartney in mid-tour backstage in Columbia, South Carolina, and asked him about Michael, the tour, and his new album.
Radio 1, check 1, 1, 2, 2.
When I talk to people after the show, they say, oh, I've never been to a show like it. So, you know, this is like the circus came to town. I want this to be the greatest circus in your memory.
Off the ground. It's an album you believe in. You have a lot invested in it.
Yeah.
Why are you only doing 6 songs from it tonight?
It's always tough to introduce audiences to new material. I know when if I go to see a Stones show, I want Satisfaction, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Honky Tonk Women, you know the songs you want.
Right.
And I saw Mick and the Stones quite a few years ago. I remember him sort of saying to the audience, now look, we're going to do a few new songs. I know you don't like them,
Put up with it.
but we're going to do them.
But
and
is
you
that
get
galling for you? I mean, you have this incredible catalog of post-Beatles stuff, which the audience likes, but then they erupt when you play the old stuff.
Yeah, do you want to sit down here for a second?
Yes, I want you to take your glasses off because Paul McCartney's eyes have got to be on this television.
Ah, they've gone!
Oh, no.
Oh my God! Oh my God, they've disappeared! Oh no, pee holes in snow! Get away. What were we saying?
I have no idea. What were we saying?
This would be a good question.
Oh, is it galling though? That
No, it used to be, and I think, for a lot of artists it is. But what you've got to do, you've got to realize an audience is going to react however it wants. It's not really to you.
Why do you work so hard?
I'm a mad person.
You are a mad person.
I'm a completely mad person.
I have a feeling that you don't believe your own history.
Well, you can't. If you to actually day to day wake up and sort of go through a normal life and have kids, and you can't. I can't really sort of think of myself as the person who's attracting all these people. I'd be floating somewhere.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of Paul McCartney that I remember, who was a kid who, if he was 1 minute late for school, he got detention. And this kid got a lot of detention. So I'm him still. And he's done very well, you see. And he's now in America, which, to me, is like dreamland. The English people, America's like the Holy Grail, So I can't believe my luck. And I think something in me just separates the two people. It says, OK, you're Paul, who was that kid and who's now father to these kids. But this big famous bloke who was in the Beatles and everything, he's something else. It's a pretty schizophrenic way to think of it all, but nothing wrong with me, mate.
But somebody said to me recently, who knows you, said that he has the feeling that you wake up every morning feeling as though you have to justify yourself.
Well, doesn't everyone? Isn't that the trouble with our society? That's what we do. And we have to not be fat, and we have to, all that. It's only part of that. It's part of, I don't know anyone who sort of wakes up and goes, I'm really great. I mean, Linda and I talk about it all the time. I think, God, haven't I done enough yet to think I'm good, And you don't. I don't know anyone who's like that.
I was not going to talk about this because it's old. You seem to have found a place in your heart for that whole era, for whatever squabbles you had, stuff like that. But you're using a picture of John tonight.
Yeah.
Which is very touching and comes at a very touching moment. Why did you choose to do that?
He was my best friend, who was a great guy who I admire to this day very, very much. And I feel very lucky to work with him. And I think he was lucky, he felt lucky to work with me. It may sound big-headed, that, but I think if he was here, I think he'd probably agree. He might not, just to be awkward, but
Do you miss
I
the
love him,
collaboration?
you know. He's a great guy. Oh, yeah, certainly, yeah. John was the greatest collaborator I've worked with, and probably that most people would have worked with. You know, he's a bit special. And so not to work with someone like that is not as easy as working with him. But, you know, some of my more famous stuff, I didn't do it with John. So there's that consolation. I mean, he had no hand in Yesterday, but he got his name first. Work that one out.
How do you feel about Beatles classics being used to sell sneakers and cookies?
I'm not keen on that. I think it's a bad idea. I'll tell you why, because when we were in the Beatles, we had all those offers ourselves. People said, you know, will you let us do this and that? We said, no, no, no. We said it'll degrade the songs a little bit. You know, it's like...
Revolution was a political song.
Well, not a sneaker, yeah. And there are a few others. What did I just see the other day? When I'm 64 is now a soft drink. But, you know, it's a pity. I think it's a pity on two levels. I think anybody who likes these songs, like All You Need Is Love, you grow up with this sort of thing and you kind of let it be. You think, yeah, you know, it means something to me. Then you suddenly see it as a sneaker. And you go, that spoiled it. So I think that's not a good idea. I don't like it. So it's against my wishes, which, again, I don't think is a great idea, because I have a song publishing company, and I respect the wishes of the authors. If they want to do the commercials, great, we'll do it. If they don't want to do them, there's no way we do them.
Have you talked to Michael about this?
I've tried to. He's not very amenable to that kind of thing. He just says, oh, that's business, and that's it. And I say, yeah, sure, it's business, but it's also friendship, it's also morals, there's a few other little things
You guys
involved.
used to be friends.
Well, I think we still are, you know, but on business, he's... I'm going to have to write him a letter. That's all there is to it. Setting out my,
Do you fear that history will remember you as someone who wrote Ear Candy? You know, pretty songs, and nice pop singer, that's all?
No. That is part of... If I start to worry about myself artistically, that would be one of the ingredients of the worry, but there's a lot of others. But that certainly is a story that's been put around by me, about me, not by me, by some people. And I think it's the kind of... It's one of those... It's a cheap shot, really. John was the hard one, Paul was the soft one. I wrote Helter Skelter. I wrote Why Don't We Do It in the Road. I wrote I'm Down. I don't want to kind of feel like I have to justify myself. But I know what I've written. And I know that Maybe I'm Amazed isn't Ear Candy, Eleanor Rigby isn't Ear Candy. I mean, I've written a lot of stuff.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
No, I know. But people do, and I think that's the reason for your question, you know, people sort of... And I think it's people who haven't done their homework. So, you know, Lennon was the hard sort of guy. John was not hard. John was the softest guy I've ever met. John was a baby. A lovely little baby, John was. But when he got in front of them, the glasses come out. Yeah, that was his front. John had one of the biggest fronts. But then if you look at John's history, father leaving home at 3, etc. This is a boy growing up on his own. So many insecurities. I can totally sympathize, particularly now at this age, now that I've got kids and I can see what this kind of stuff does to kids. Boy, can I see what it did to John. But no, I'd be very happy for him to be remembered as a great, great, great person. I think I'll sort of sneak in there somewhere. But, you know, it's up to other people, it's not to me. They must make that decision. I think if I ever do just rest on my laurels, I'll have to give up. I won't be able to come here and do this.
7:54 on this Wednesday morning. We're back in a moment with more, right after these messages.
He just sort of says, oh, that's business, and that's it. And I say, yeah, sure, it's business, but it's also friendship, it's also morals.